I gave up college to care for my dad. Then my sister showed up demanding half the inheritance. 5 years ago, my dad was diagnosed with terminal cancer. I was 19, barely into my first college semester, and I'd just been offered a programming job I'd worked for all through high school. My sister Alyssa was 27, making great money and saving for a yacht like it mattered more than anything. The doctor talked about treatments and time, and my dad sat there silent, staring at the floor. On the way home, he said, "So what happens now?" Alyssa looked at the photo of mom on the wall and said, "I'm not putting my life on hold for this. I deserve to enjoy my freedom." Then she said she wouldn't help care for him, and she wouldn't pay for a caregiver either because it would drain her yacht fund. My dad blinked like he didn't understand what he was hearing. I felt sick because I knew that meant it was on me. I withdrew from college. I turned down the job before I even started. People told me I was throwing my life away, but my dad raised us alone after mom died when I was 12. He worked double shifts and still showed up for us. I wasn't leaving him. I took a night job at a 24-hour diner so I could be home with him in the daytime. Every day turned into the same grind. I'd sleep a few hours, get up to help him with hills and breakfast, clean the house, and drive him to appointments. At night, I'd serve customers until sunrise, then go right back to being his caregiver. My dad hated needing help, but he'd try to joke through it. Then he'd ask the question that crushed me. "Your sister called today?" He'd say it like he was trying not to care. I'd lie and say, "She's busy with work, but she'll come soon." One night, after a rough appointment, Dad asked me to call her on speaker. It went straight to voicemail. I left a careful message, and 10 minutes later, she texted, "Can't talk, I'm at dinner." Dad just nodded and asked me for water. The truth was, Alyssa didn't visit once in 5 years. Not his birthday, not Christmas, not even when the doctor said he had weeks left. Once or twice a year, she'd text excuses like, "Seeing him sick triggers my anxiety," or "I can't handle hospitals." Meanwhile, her social media was full of trips and parties. One day, my dad saw a post over my shoulder and asked, "Is she having fun?" He just stared at the phone for a long moment and handed it back. Last month, my dad passed away in his sleep. I was holding his hand when it happened. I called Alyssa, voice shaking, and she said, "Okay, thanks for telling me. Send funeral details." She didn't come. I paid for the whole funeral myself, about $8,000 I didn't have. I sold my laptop and my phone and put the rest on a credit card because my dad deserved a real goodbye. The day before the service, Alyssa texted she couldn't make it because of a war conference in Miami. That same night, I saw her story at a beach club. A week later, we met with my dad's lawyer for the will reading. I walked in straight from my shift in my diner uniform. Alyssa showed up in designer clothes and acted annoyed she had to drive 2 hours. The lawyer read the will. I got the house, a modest 3-bedroom my dad had paid off, and his vintage cars. I also got his life insurance policy, $750,000. Alyssa got $50,000 cash and mom's jewelry, maybe another $20,000. Alyssa's face went red. She stood up and said, "This is ridiculous. We're his children. It should be split equally." The lawyer explained my dad was clear and fully sound when he signed. Alyssa stormed out like I'd robbed her. 2 days ago, she came to the house with a man in a suit, her lawyer. She pushed past me into the living room, the same room where I'd spent years lifting dad in and out of his recliner. She said, "We need to talk." Then she pointed at me and said, "You chose to play nurse. That was your choice, but the inheritance should be fair." Her lawyer started throwing around words like undue influence and contesting the will. Alyssa crossed her arms and said, "One chance. Split everything 50-50 or I'll take you to court. I can afford a much better lawyer than you." I said, "Get out of my house." At the door, she said, "You're going to regret this." After they left, I called my dad's lawyer and told him Alyssa was trying to contest the will. He told me to come in the next morning with everything I had. The next day, I sat in a small office and laid it all out on the desk. I showed him the funeral bill, my credit card bill, her beach club post, and the few texts she sent in 5 years. The attorney said, "Your father made his choice, and we can defend it." He named his retainer fee, and my stomach dropped. Then I pulled out the life insurance paperwork, slid it across the desk, and said, "Do it." I signed the agreement. He shook my hand and opened his laptop. Then he emailed Alyssa's lawyer one short list.